Hey, what's up, you guys? We want to welcome you to another episode of the Daddy Hog TV podcast, where we look to inspire and motivate you all, try to share real life stories from real life people to keep you motivated on whatever journey it might be that you're on in life. Today, we get the chance to sit down with the individual that I kind of get to watch and find inspiration from on a day-to-day basis. One of my good friends. His name is Charles Wingfield, aka Mr. CJ Lifestyle. Um, So Charles, for the people that may or may not know you, first to get started, what was it like kind of growing up for you? Where did you grow up? What was that like?
Well, I grew up in Emmett, Arkansas, and it was a small town, real small. I had a few good friends around, and it wasn't just too active around there. Which I went to school in Hope, so I had quite a few friends in Hope. But life was I couldn't complain about you know life back then as a kid. It was pretty decent.
Hmm.
Uh, I had to work hard, of course. I was taught to always work hard and go after what you want and go after your dreams. So uh hard work wasn't it was definitely a must for me. So I
Right.
was always taught to go for it.
So even as a kid, you say one of the first things you remember and that you know that was instilled from you or in you from day one was to work hard.
Yes, sir. I always go at it.
Yes, sir. Okay, so as a youngster, all right, we're the 6, 7 year old CJ Charles. What type of things were you into? Were you into sports or
Yeah, I was into sports. I played upward bound basketball. Also surprisingly, I was into livestock, animals, horses, cows, and all that. Had a few dogs. I rode horses quite a bit. Uh, and I was real interested in cows, which I got my first cow and calf way back, probably in the seventh grade. But I was always taught to always invest in yourself and look at long term goals and all that. But having fun though, riding horses, playing basketball all the time, playing football in the baseball field and all that. So it was it was
now you
pretty.
say you say you got your first cow at 7 years old.
No, no,
How
no, no, no. Seventh grade, seventh
seventh
grade.
grade? Okay.
Yeah.
How was you able to pull that off?
Well, it was always I was either doing chores around the house, and then I also learned how to drive a tractor and bush hog, and I did little jobs driving tractors and bush hogging different places. As a matter of fact, uh, a place that I did bush hog for quite a bit of money is actually right down the road from where I live now. It
Hmm.
was uh, it was a neighbor that lived up the road from me. But years ago, I used to bush hog his place with a tractor and a bush hog. So I was always out there trying to make some money some type of way.
So in the seventh grade, you what, probably 12, 13 years old, you say?
Right, right.
So that's kind of crazy for me to hear because even myself, I have kids now, but you see these kids of today's time, you go to talk about doing some work like that's different, so um what would you say to the 9, 10, 11 year old kid now that the mom may say, hey, you need to get out the house, you need to do some work, because you heard it hands on and you actually went and done it. What would you say to them far as later on in life it may help you
Well,
or how it may help you?
it's gonna always put that drive in you to go. I mean, it might not you might not like it sometimes,
Right.
but as far as like getting out there and doing it, it's gonna always give you that drive to go no matter what and get your own money and being able to work hard for whatever you got. And it definitely instilled that in me because we used to have to go out there and like I said, I used to drive the tractor around and I even, did gas expenses and all that. And it was different, but I definitely am thankful for that time and like the times that I had to work hard and figure out what I needed to do. So
Right. Right. Now off camera, we was kind of talking a little bit, and you also shared with me that you at some point you had a wreck.
yep, back in 2010 in the 10th grade, I had a
Mm-hmm.
wreck on a ATV. Like I said, Emmett is a small town, so uh it was my fault, but at the same time, I know I shouldn't have ran that stop sign, but anyway, it was a fence that was standing up pretty tall, probably about 5 or 6 foot maybe. And I was standing up on my four wheeler driving back home. And as a matter of fact, I was about 2 blocks away from my house. So I had my knee on the seat and I was rolling pretty good. And I looked over, I caught myself looking over the fence, but I didn't see the car that was coming. So I glanced to the left and then I glanced to the right. So by the time I got past the fence, when I looked back to the left, the car was already there and I just T-boned it. And I tried to mash on my brakes. It happened so quick, but I tried to mash on my brakes and turn like this. And the first thing that hit was my foot and it
Mm-hmm.
shattered that in 5 places. So with that being said, I shattered my foot, hit the ground. I got a scar right here, as a matter of fact, and it collapsed one of my lungs. So when I hit the ground, I couldn't breathe. Like I really couldn't breathe. It was
Right.
no breath coming out. Like, I normally it's like, okay, I can catch a little breath, but I couldn't breathe at all. So it was a little scary. I thought I was seeing death at that time, but then I finally was able to catch a little breath, but I couldn't breathe. I can only breathe rapidly, just short breaths. So at that time, I didn't feel my foot. I was in so much pain with my back and the scar right here and all the glass and everything. I didn't feel my foot, but and my foot was actually broke. So I never did look down at my foot. They told me not to look. So when I hit the ground and the ambulance finally came and everything, they told me it was broke. And when they put me up on that stretcher, it was a totally different feeling. I would never wish that pain on anybody. But when they lifted him up on the stretcher, it just felt like my foot was detached from it was still attached by the skin, but it just felt like it was just hanging. So it was like one of the worst pains. And also I was in so much pain with my foot, I didn't feel that they had to put a splint in the side to open up my lungs to help me breathe right here.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to actually like punch a splint inside on the side right here. I got a scar right here on the side, but they had to punch that in to help me breathe with that lung to air it back up and everything. But I never felt it. I was in so much pain with my leg. So I
Right.
got airlifted to Children's Hospital, and it was a possibility that I was gonna lose my leg because I didn't have no pulse in it for a couple of days. And after strong prayers and praying to God and everything, and strong family, they finally one day they finally came in. I believe it was about 2 days before they said they would possibly have to cut off my foot if they didn't get a pulse. So it was about 2 days before, and they came in and finally started feeling a pulse in my foot.
Right.
So that being said, I had to go through surgery, and I had a I had 2 rods coming out the top of my leg and a rod going all the way down through my foot, which I still have the scars. And hopefully it would mend my bones and help my bones mend back together. But that didn't work. So after about a month and a half, I had to go back, and then they had to put 2 titanium plates on the side of my legs.
Mm-hmm.
And after they put those 2 titanium plates in there to helping me in, I got screws and hardware in there right now, as a matter of fact. But after they did that and they was hoping it'll mend, my my leg got infected.
Mm-hmm.
So it got a staph infection. So it swelled up like crazy. It was in pain. I was hurting like crazy. So they had to go back and do another surgery and open it up and actually drain my foot. I mean, drain my leg. So they had three sponges with pretty big incisions on my leg, and was draining the pulse and everything out. And it was just, yeah, that was pretty painful.
Right. It sounds like so. And in every podcast, I often try to find, because most of the time in our lives, it's always something that we go through as individuals that kind of, detour or kind of motivate us to want to live different. Right. And I,
Right.
and I can only imagine going through something like that. Like you say, excuse me, a near death experience, to be able to overcome that, that had to show you a different purpose of life.
Yes, sir, definitely. Especially in the 10th grade,
Right.
and uh I was out pretty much the whole year of my 10th grade year. But it was definitely a life-changing experience. And once I finally got my leg back together and the infection out and everything was done, I was able to, they said they wanted me to come up to physical therapy for to Little Rock every, I wanted to say it was every once every week. But instead of that, it motivated me more to do it myself. So I took it upon myself every day. Once I was able and cleared from the doctor, I was able to get out and do what I can do. I was running almost every day.
Yeah.
I was running and trying to get myself, well, at first I didn't start off running, of course, but I walked and got back on my feet. And after that, I went strong with it.
Right.
And
So you didn't let it stop you. If anything, it probably motivated you.
yes, sir. Yes,
Most
sir.
definitely. And to okay, so in the 10th grade, not to fast forward too fast, but at that point, were you ever thinking that you would be in some of the opportunities you are in now in life?
No, not at all. I got some life changing experiences. Got out of school, and I was starting to go to college, and I had my first child. So, with that being said, I took the initiative to, because I was in Russellville at the time,
Mhm.
and after that semester, I took the initiative to come back down here and find me a job. So I moved back down here, moved back down to home where my child was, and my now wife. Uh, moved back down here and got me a little job, starting off part-time job. But that was the hardest thing, trying to find a good stable job at the time. So I was doing odds and end jobs. Might be working here for a few days, and then I have to work over there for a few days, and just enough to get my money going and all that before I was able to find me like a nice stable job.
Right. Okay. Um, and then like I said, to fast forward, we blessed. I talk to youth all the time and trying to tell them, not only to not give up on their dreams, but to also, you know, be okay with being themselves. All right. There's a lot of times in my life growing up, excuse me, that, I know we all probably face it at some point through different fashions, but I was kind of counted out. Different people might not have, believed in me getting as far as I possibly am now. Right.
Right.
But with that being said, for us both, um, being in situations, man, you couldn't have told me myself personally 10 years ago, I'd be in a situation where I was making six figures a year. Right.
Right. Right.
So to the youth, the 16, 17, 18-year old, they might have the aspirations of going to the college to become, you know, a professional athlete or whatever it may be. What would you say to them if they were to choose a different route and to choose like per se the working route?
Well, I personally say that no matter what struggles come your way, never give up. Never give up, because it's been some struggles in my life. I tell you that. I've had it to where my wife and kids, we had our own place, and we had to actually move out because of the money situation, because of the job situation.
Right.
And that there was one of the most hardest times for me to have to move out of our own house and move back. You know what I mean? Like for me as a man, it sort of felt a different type of way.
Right.
So it definitely will touch you in a different way. But with that being said, don't ever stop pushing. No, never stop pushing for greater.
Right.
Ever, ever, because now we got our own place, living we living a pretty decent life,
Yeah.
and definitely got we definitely making pretty decent living for where we at, especially. So I'm definitely thankful for everything. It took a lot of prayer and a lot of changing and a lot of dedication to
A lot
go
of
on.
hard work.
Yes, sir.
A lot of hard work as well. And that's one thing I want to try to point out is, nothing in life really gonna come easy. I think sometimes us as people, we kind of wish that, we could just wake up tomorrow and somebody be there to hand it to us.
Right.
But what we all need to understand is throughout this journey, throughout all of our journeys, to get where you truly want to go, you got to be willing to do the work. You got to be willing to do the work, right?
Yes,
It
sir.
was times, and I ain't really spoke on this before, but it was times I dropped out going into the 10th grade myself. And there was times people around me, not to point no certain individuals out, but they was telling me like, hey, you'll never be nothing. You're gonna end up in jail, or you're gonna end up doing this, that, or the third, right? And so
Yes,
I
sir.
often look back or think back to them times now. And in some kind of weird way, I was only able to use that as motivation, right? To show not only to myself, but to those individuals as well that I know I can, right?
Exactly.
So that's the thing. I use this phrase in pretty much every episode, man, is for people to not stop dreaming. Whatever it is you're trying to do in life, whatever it is you're trying to conquer in life, don't give up. Even when the obstacles come, the times get hard financially, whatever it is, man, keep pushing through it because you can do it. Keep pushing
Yes,
through it.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I also want to shed light on one other thing, man. We often have these conversations, and you've been kind of hipping me to it. This new thing, everybody talking about the cryptocurrency and how to get into the cryptocurrency, and you should be into the cryptocurrency. So I know you do a lot of studying and a lot of research, and invested as well. What would you have to say to anybody out there that was looking to try to, possibly maybe on the fence about possibly trying to get into crypto or anything like that?
Well, I can tell you from experience that it is a it's definitely a totally different aspect. That's for sure.
Right,
But this crypto, and I can definitely back this. Is definitely changing a lot of things.
right,
And if you are looking to get into crypto, definitely do your research. But I can promise you, it's worth it. I
right.
got some things I'm working on and coming about, and I might be dropping some big things here soon, and
Yeah.
might be might be able to shed light on a couple of things in the crypto world here soon. So
Is that a spoiler alert? So you may be dropping some, huh? Um,
yeah, yeah.
so like even for somebody like myself, do you got any tips or anything like that? Anybody might, check us out, watch this episode or listen to this episode. Where would I go if I was wanting to get started about learning cryptocurrency?
Well, do I do a lot of research on YouTube,
Hmm.
which also YouTube, and definitely look into the news of crypto. Uh, I'm actually into an academy right now that I'm learning,
Hmm.
and that's definitely helped me out a lot, a lot,
Right,
a lot. And
right.
like I said, a lot of things you can look at and learn different strategies to trade, and it's a lot of new things that's coming about. Only 4% of the world is actually into crypto. So I mean, and
So it's
it
relatively still new for the most part.
yes, Yes, sir. It's new, but it's old. A lot of people are
Right,
just
right.
not catching on. So if
Yeah.
you're going to get into the crypto market, it's best that you go ahead on to get in early because a lot of big movers are moving into it. And when I say a lot of big movers, I'm talking about big movers.
Okay. So say that I was somebody that, just may want to reach out to you. Are you on any social medias or anything like that?
Yes, sir. Just definitely hit my hit my Facebook, which is Charles Wingfield, or Instagram, which is CJ's Lifestyle. Uh, Also, I got a Twitter. Also, it's under CJ's Lifestyle, and also a YouTube, which is CJ's Lifestyle. All three of those are CJ's Lifestyle. The only one I really use my name on is Facebook, which is Charles Wingfield. You can look me up at all those sites.
Okay. Okay. Another part of something I wanted to get into, you kind of just dropped on us there. So on YouTube, you also are a content creator, right?
Yeah, yes,
So
sir.
how do you find that lifestyle to be, as far as the grind of trying to become a content creator or being a content creator?
The country creator part is actually fun. At first it was a little, nerve wracking. You gotta work up your nerves in order to be in front of that the world can possibly see it. So
Right.
uh it's a little nerve wracking at first, but I mean I promise you it's as long as you can get past those little bugs, the little jitterbugs, man, it's definitely fun to be a content creator. I enjoy it, and it's some big things coming up on CJ's Lifestyle. Y'all just stay tuned if y'all want to go over there and check me out.
Right.
It's CJ's Lifestyle on YouTube, and I can promise you some big things are gonna come. But it's definitely a different side, and it's definitely a different grind also. In order for you to see making content, sometimes it seems relatively easy, but it's definitely a grind of its own. It's a different grind.
Right.
You have to grind a little bit different and understand, everything about the analytics and how to create content. But
Right.
it's definitely worth learning though.
I guess I could drop in there and help you shed some light on that with myself too. With even like what ideas that I come up with like doing the podcast, for instance. You said kind of getting out your own way, stuff like that. Sometimes we can think too much, right? Instead of doing, not and understanding too that not everybody is going to like everything that you do. But
Exactly.
I personally found for myself when I started creating content and I done it more for myself and to spread the message to those who, wanted to hear it than the people that was going to be negative or the people that was going to say, hey, you're not going to make it. That's when I was able to have fun with it. That's when I was able to have fun with it.
Exactly.
When I found a purpose, bigger than just saying, hey, I want to be famous. A lot of people, like you said, a lot of people think you can get on and just turn the camera on and, people going to come. You're going to get a million views because you're doing something cool. The difference is it's a lot of people doing something cool, right?
Exactly.
So it's about finding your niche, staying true to yourself, um, and finding that community that like, the things that you provide.
You do. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't really
Yeah.
want to step out of character per se.
Right.
You want to be true to yourself, so the people that supports you is supporting you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Supporting you. So
Mm. Well, CJ, it's been good, man. I appreciate you for chilling with us here on Daddy Hog TV, man. We're most definitely gonna be checking back in with you as we're
yes,
putting
sir.
together those things over there. We're looking
Yes,
forward
sir.
to with this crypto, man.
Yes,
I've been
sir.
hearing a
Yes,
lot
sir.
of big things about it. A lot of big things about it. So
Yes, sir. Big things are to come. I promise you.
yeah,
And like I said, if anybody got any questions, I'm definitely on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anything. So definitely here.
you guys go get in my guy. It's been a good one, man. CJ Lifestyle. I appreciate it once again, my brother.
Yes,
You
sir.
stay
Yes,
safe and
sir.
stay blessed up, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You do the same, man. Appreciate it for having me on.
Yes, sir.
All right.